Hi there, good afternoon. How's it going? Hair finally cut. I'm not a hippie anymore. It was definitely time. Feels great. So, this is Chanakale on the Dardanelles Strait. This is, of course, a representation of the legendary Trojan horse. I visited the ancient city of Troy 2 days ago, which is about a 35-minute drive away. I discussed the history in that other video, so I won't be discussing it too much in this one because there is much more to discuss about the history of this area. And so the Trojan horse may or may not have actually been a real thing. Even the Trojan War is not entirely known to have occurred as it was told by the Greek writer Homer in his epic poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey. But the ancient city was identified, and there is actually some evidence that there was a catastrophic fire destruction of the city around the same time period as the Trojan War in about 1200 BC. So there could be some sort of truth to the Trojan horse story, but apparently it might actually refer to instruments of war such as a battering ram, in which they would put horse hides over the battering ram in order to protect it from arrows that were on fire that would attempt to hit the battering ram, which I guess would be wooden, and light it on fire in order to destroy it. And so it's just a legend and unknown whether that story about they built the Trojan horse and then the soldiers, Odysseus included, the main character in the Homer poem, the Odyssey, whether they actually hid inside of a horse and then it was taken inside by the Trojans themselves, and then they came out and attacked the city and won the war that way, that is unknown, but it is undoubtedly an incredible story. And regardless, this, as I discussed previously, is truly one of the most historic places in the world, even though it is not particularly well known now. No major cities in this area. Chanakale is the biggest small city in this area, but this, the Dardanelles Strait, is extremely, extremely important as a strategic position for controlling maritime traffic ships sailing from the Mediterranean, the Aegean, through this very narrow strait. You can see the other side over there. That is the Gallipoli Peninsula, now called, I think, Golobu, something like that, in Turkish. And so you sail up this narrow strait and then enter the Sea of Marmara, a small inland sea, and then from there you get to Istanbul, go through the Bosphorus, and then you get to the Black Sea. And so any ships wanting to sail from anywhere on the Black Sea, which includes Romania, Bulgaria, Ukraine, I forget if Moldova has some little piece of it there, it might, and then Ukraine, Russia, Crimea, Georgia, that whole region, if they want to carry goods or do whatever outside of the Black Sea area, they have to go through this little spot right here. And so it has been very important throughout history. And I mean, a long, long time of history. So in more recent history, here we have a sign on that hill. It says 18 Mart 1915. I believe that Mart must mean March, 18th of March 1915, World War I, the Gallipoli campaign. I am now going to start walking down this way past a line of touristy restaurants in the direction of where I am going today. You can see I'm all packed up here, and going to a Turkish island, Bozkada, the old Greek name being Tenedos. That was one of the main missions, along with seeing Troy, was to visit a Turkish island, because there are so many Greek islands in the Aegean Sea, but there are a few Turkish ones, also Gökçeada. So yesterday I tried to figure out how to get to that island, and I was really hoping that there would be a direct ferry from here. Ferries out there right now, that would have been ultimate. Just walk out of my hotel, walk over to the ferry, get on a boat, relax, have a beer, gaze out at the Aegean Sea, which is literally just a few miles down there through the Dardanelles Strait here. But there are no direct ferries from here to Bozkada. I have to take a bus or a minivan or something about an hour south to Gayakli, and from there catch a ferry boat. The minivans apparently leave around every hour. The ferries also leave around every hour. They couldn't sell me a ticket at the tourist office that I checked yesterday, and they said just go there and, you know, catch the next one. So that is the mission now. Also, I'm hungry for breakfast. So it is 11 something in the morning. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. Currently about 84 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 29 degrees Celsius. A good warm day here, end of August, still in peak tourist season. I think that the island of Bozkada is going to be very busy. The room prices were insane. So, as I showed in a previous video, my rooms here and also in Ankara were, in Ankara I think that it was $37. Here it was like $32, $33, something like that. So amazing price. But on Bozkada, 157 bucks a night. That was the cheapest thing that I could find. There was very little selection. Look at that boat, wish that I was on it. But I decided to go ahead and splurge. 3 nights there, and then I will be heading most likely to the Greek islands, although maybe see a little more of Turkey, not quite sure yet. So, getting back to the history, I can still see the sign there. 18 Mart 1915. So World War I. the Gallipoli campaign, an alliance of Great Britain, France, Russia, Australia, New Zealand, and others attempted to take the Dardanelles Strait here. The Ottoman Empire was still in existence and controlled this area, and so it was a full-on attack of the Ottoman Empire trying to disrupt their power in the region. And so that battle campaign effort lasted about a year, resulted in about 500,000 casualties, around 100,000 deaths, and was unsuccessful. Ataturk was the commander of the Ottoman forces, and his success in repelling the invasion boosted his popularity, and he then became the first president of modern day Turkey. And there he is, right there. And so that was a very momentous moment in history. If the Western European forces and Australia, New Zealand, etc. had won, taken over here, that certainly would have changed the history of Turkey quite a bit. Okay, I need to figure out my strategy. I'm thinking that I will go to the place where I had breakfast yesterday. It was really good. It's right down here. And go ahead, fill up before my journey. And on the other side of breakfast, I need to explain much more about the importance of the history of this region. Nice place here, and they have some great breakfast selections. Lemonade. And there we go, some good looking poached egg and avocado toast with fries and a salad. Very colorful breakfast. There's the Trojan horse. So right there, maybe you can read, it says Gayaquil. Gayaquil is the ferry port where the ferry will go to Bozkata Island. And if you can hear it in my voice, I'm still a little bit sick, but definitely getting better quickly. I think that I will have kicked this within another day or two. So the minibus there leaves in about 30 minutes, so I have some time here to explain a little bit more about the history of the region. So, as I showed in the video about the ancient city of Troy, just south of here, then the history here goes back a very, very long time. So, to put things in perspective, in the Bible, then in the Old Testament specifically, then one of the oldest historical references as far as confirming an actual person and event in history is a Egyptian pharaoh from the 10th century BC who attacked and conquered Jerusalem in around like 950 BC, something like that. So about 3,000 years ago. And then Moses, not known to be a real person, but if he did exist, then that would about correspond with the Trojan War around, 1200 BC, something like that. So more than 3,000 years ago. And so that is some pretty old history there when you're referencing the, earliest stories from the Bible. But at the time of the Trojan War, the city of Troy was already very, very old, because it was first founded in around 3000 BC, so 5,000 years ago. So you're then talking about some of the oldest organized human civilization anywhere in the world. Now, Sumerian culture is even older than that. Of course, there is Göbekli Tepe here in Turkey, which I have been to, which is much older than that. 10,000 BC, 12,000 BC, somewhere around there. But that was a very different kind of civilization. But at Troy, you had this very organized sort of human civilization city structure. So a lot of history in this region in general. So there are two very specific other events that occurred specifically relating to the Dardanelles Strait, which I think that the land that you can see there sticking up above the buildings is the Gallipoli Peninsula on the other side of the strait. And so the strait is just right over there. And so when I was in Greece a few months ago, I went to Marathon. The Marathon, the 26-mile run, is based on the Battle of Marathon and the Greek victory there, and a Greek soldier running from the town of Marathon to Athens to inform the Athenians that the Greeks had been victorious against the Persian attack. And so that was in 490 BC, the Battle of Marathon. That was the Persian king Darius attempting to take over Greece, failing, being repelled, and returning back to Persia. That king died. His son Xerxes decided to carry on his father's mission of trying to take over Greece, and gathered an army to go attack Greece once again. They needed to cross the Dardanelles Strait. Now, you can get to Athens by sea, of course, but with his massive army, he wanted to go by land and attack, the upper part of Greece and make his way through that part of Greece and then get to Athens eventually that way. And so from here, then you have to get across this waterway. So he built 2 pontoon bridges over the water for his army to cross over, but a storm destroyed the bridges. And then I guess later he found another way to get across the strait there. He then marched into Greece, and the Persians lost some of those battles. They were repelled by the Greeks, but then they won other battles and ultimately managed to get through into Greece and made their way all the way to Athens and conquered it and burned Athens to the ground. This was in 480 BC, a decade after the Battle of Marathon. Crazy looking plane right there. Look at that thing. It's huge. Is that a military jet or something commercial? Gotta be a military style jet, I think. But anyways, over the coming decades after the Persian invasion, then the Greeks managed to fight back against the Persians, repel them, and they ultimately left Greece and retreated back to Persia. So jump forwards another century, more than a century, and you have King Philip. And oh, I thought that was my okay, I don't want to take a chance at missing this minivan, so I'm going to get over there and just very quickly wrap this one up. So basically, Alexander the Great, as I've discussed in many other videos, decided to attack Persia in order to push them back because of those attacks by Persia against Greece. And at the very beginning of his conquest, then he crossed through northern Greece and encountered the Dardanelles Strait, and crossed here on his way into Persia, and ultimately starting one of the most successful military campaigns in world history, undefeated in battle, and conquered much of the known world. And so the strait there has been a very important geographic feature for a very long time. Okay, let's get on this bus, try not to get hit by another bus. So there you can see Gaekli, Bozkara, that's the island.